Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy from the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by...
Hi, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things podcast. We're a little rusty, if you can't tell.
Just a smidge.
But we're doing great. I'm doing
amazing.
Great. You doing great?
We're doing great.
It's been great.
Everybody looks great. Everybody's doing great. We're doing great.
Oh, so you are talking to, or you are listening to, two people who saw Joe at the barricade together. Finally.
Guys, I did it. I did it. Yeah, so basically when we originally did this, because what was it called? Stage?
Soundside Festival or
Soundside
something
Festival.
like that? Yeah.
That got canceled. So Joe, doing the right thing, was like, you know what? I'm going to do a concert in Connecticut, in New Haven. And that's about 2 hours away from me. So we decided to do this. Megan, unfortunately, she could only get VIP because general admission had sold out. So I was like, well, you're coming to visit me anyways. And I was like, my ass has to get up at 4 a.m. anyways. I'm going to have to sit and wait and wait and wait. And I'm like, let me try, And we all knew, because we all knew what happened in Denver. We all knew the kidney stones in Boston. We all know I missed Philly. So, I think if there were bets, they weren't going that I was going to make it. But I was like, screw it, let's try it. Luckily, I bought a resale ticket. It worked out perfectly. And we gave it the old college try. I felt like I got hit with a shovel when we woke up. But we drove, we got there, we sat on the sidewalk, we saw some of the New Haven residents. It was interesting.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. New Haven was wild. I did not know, well, I mean, I guess I didn't realize, Yale University was, literally right there. Right the next block over. But, also...
The students walking by, giving us the hairy eyeball, I was like...
Very judgmental.
I'm like, community college, bitch. So... it was definitely an experience. I got to meet a lot of amazing people. Shout out Monica, Abby, bunch of people. They were awesome keys. But then at one point we had to move, and the barricade was up against the second tour bus so they could get the equipment and the merch in, and there was a lot of fumes.
Yeah, the bus wasn't on, but I think it was running its
the
generator, and those fumes from that generator right in our face for a couple hours.
Do you love that I just sat against the bus and fell asleep?
You were just sleeping, breathing it in.
Breathing in that good Connecticut air.
Losing our brain cells.
You almost gave me a blueberry cookie, but...
Oh, gosh. I'm sorry.
One thing I had to say about Megan is she is on top of my blueberry allergy. She's like, this has blueberries. So right away she goes, do you want a piece of my oatmeal cookie? And I'm like, sure. She breaks off a piece, gives it to me, and immediately she goes, spit it out. Spit it right at her. So we put on the show for some people, but it was really nice. We got some friendship bracelets. We ended up meeting with Andy, Brandy, and Rachel, who were going to be up in the balcony, got some pizza, chilled out, and I started to crash out a bit. And literally Rachel was like, you looked like you were going to your executioner when you got up. And a part of me was like, oh my God, I'm getting tired. Will I be able to do this? What if we don't get barricade? I don't think. And I kept going, maybe I should just sit in the balcony. Megan, I am so goddamn happy that I just powered through it. I went, no, we're going to do this. And I was already excited because the merch was a little different. It was really cute. And for the VIPs, and we got our wristbands, and we got in, and we got barricade. And I got to tell you, leaning against something makes the world a difference.
I'm telling you,
it was like a swamp.
It's a life changer.
Everybody
it was
smelled,
hot. Yeah.
Everybody smelled. I apologize. I probably really smelled. Everybody was wet. Everybody was just nasty. Wet, not in the good sense. It was just bad. It was bad. But
I mean, maybe that too, but Joe was pretty hot.
It was Joe. But Megan talking to one of the security guys and you explaining who Joe was, and he's like, I like about 20% of the stuff that comes through here. And I'm like, you're not going to like Joe.
I was really mad he didn't come back over at the end of the night and tell me whether he liked it or not.
He was counting to 29. He was having a great time. But it was barricade, I got to tell you, it was more to prove to myself and to make up for the fact that, Denver, I tapped out because we were in the crowd. We weren't barricade. Boston, I was really sick. missing Philly ripped my heart out. So this kind of made up for it. I wanted to do this with you. So I was really glad we were together. One of the security guys gave me a water bottle. You brought me water. You were such a sweetheart. And dear God. But it definitely is completely different. This is probably my only time I'm ever going to do it, but I'm glad I did it with you. Everybody was amazing. And we were so up close, and he was wearing a bandana, and he looked super hot. And another bite, it's different than the Back on You tour. Some things are different. Some things are taken out. Some things are added. But being able to listen to Back on You with you, magic.
Yeah, he ended the set with that, and then like the encore was Chateau and Flesh Mountain, but it was so good, and the energy was insane. And I have been to a couple more shows since then, because we went to like the festival on Sunday, and then I went to Atlanta, but like the New Haven show technically became like the first actual like Another Bite show, because he did like that weird show at Rochester like midweek, and then he had like the 2 All Things Go at New York and Maryland, like on either end of the New Haven show, but like that was the first like Another Bite Post Animal opening, and it was just like, I feel like it was just the energy, like them being back, and it was so good. And the line, like you said, was a little insane with like sitting in the road next to the bus, and like that usually doesn't happen, but like I can say that venue was really good, because
it was.
There was like a guy from the venue who was really trying hard to take care of the line and make sure we stayed in order, and like he was taking people in to go to the bathroom if they needed to.
He even reassured a bunch of us, because he saw we were a little worried going in for the VIP, and he went, "Don't worry, all of you are going to get barricade." And we were like,
and we did.
We're in the late 30s number-wise.
Yeah. So I was like, do you really know that guy? But like we did. Like it ended up working out. And the venue is also like tiered, and it like is on a slant. So I feel like even people that were behind us still had a good view, because you could kind of see over people. Like that's huge for a venue. And then I loved that like they kept the aisles clear on the sides. So like when I went to the bathroom and got water, like in between
it was safe.
The sets, like I could get back there and get back up like easily. Like it was overall like a really good experience. Like literally sitting next to the bus sucked, but that was the only negative.
It was worth it. It was really worth it. It was hard work.
And also I understood that why they had to put us there too, because like they only had that one side door to get stuff unloaded into, and that's where we were lined up.
They moved fairly quick, you know, and there was a coffee shop around the corner where we went, and you got something to eat, and I was able to use the bathroom. The sun kind of sucked because it was hot.
It came out like at the end there.
I think that's what kind of sucked my energy out, but I'm glad I rallied. I stayed hydrated, and I knew, I was like, well, if I need to tap, there is a seat in the balcony for me. But I'm glad I did it, not only to prove to myself, but to everybody. And it's just so much fun singing along with you and seeing Joe that up close. But doing the All Things Go, Joe didn't get on the stage until 8 o'clock. I know you spent most of the day with our friend Kelly, but I ended up coming with Andy, Brandy, and Rachel. And it was my first music festival. We sat on the lawn. We were all together, and we were just silly and being obnoxious and singing and having a good time.
It was hilarious. Oh, shoot. I wasn't going to go into this whole thing about the girls in Atlanta that I told you about before we started recording, but I did forget to tell you one key detail.
What happened?
Guess when they left.
When?
Guess what song they left after?
Delete Ya?
No. Like, they left after End of Beginning. That's all they cared about seeing.
Are you for fucking real?
Yes. So I was telling Stacey a story before we recorded about these girls who like tried to push up and like get it like right before Joe's set, like Post Animals already over. They like pushed up and just squeezed themselves in. And when they left after End of Beginning, I was like, "Are you serious?" I said to them, "I'm like, really leaving after End of Beginning? Okay." But what made me think of that was the only song that everybody on the lawn like sang along to, and
everybody
had their phones
took out
out.
their phones, and we're just looking like we're the hardcore Joe fans, and we're just like, what the fuck? We're like, oh, Gen Z, just so embarrassing. But it was definitely went down barricade with you, and then doing All Things Go and just singing, being silly with my friends, top 5 core memories. So
yeah, So much
another
fun.
bite, guys. I got to tell you, like, I loved Back on You, but Another Bite is an experience, and I hope he adds more dates. It's amazing, and I cannot wait to hear about Kansas City.
Yeah, and I had a great time in Atlanta too. My friend Carrie went with me. I got to see Mandy and Amanda and a bunch of other people like were there again too. So it was so much fun, and I still have one more show, so I don't have to be depressed until later this week.
Woo!
Yeah, but then thank goodness I have like more concerts to look forward to at the end of the month because I'm seeing
she does.
Hotel Mira and like a couple other also Noah Reed. That's before Hotel Mira.
Oh, that's cool.
And then like the 2 Post Animal shows that I'm going to in November.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think I'm still going to be depressed when Joe's over, but like that way I still have Hotel Mira to look forward to. But like after Hotel Mira, like I'm going to be like clinically depressed, I think. So
it's all right. Join the club. We'll be
then
fine.
I'll have Stranger Things to look forward to. But like also I'm not looking forward to Stranger Things because it's going to be over and it's really depressing.
Oh, New Year's Day, people come check on me. That's all I'm saying.
I think everybody, needs to like really do a check for me and Stacey on New Year's Day. Like,
whew. We're going to be smoking cigarettes, just sitting against a brick wall, staring off into space. It's going to be bad.
So that's the next couple of months. It's going to be like an emotional roller coaster, but
I can't wait.
So, speaking of Stranger Things, we have finally watched the 3rd episode of season 4.
The monster and the superhero.
It was a good episode.
It was.
Yeah. A lot of just like, kind of more build up, like kind of setting up the storyline for this season.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of like great like interactions between characters, some funny moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Can I start? Because you know
Please.
how obsessed
I know how you
I
feel
am
about this scene.
with this scene. And I forgot that this is how this episode opens. So we open in Ruth, Nevada. A helicopter lands. It's not Millie Bobby Brown.
It's not. Nope.
It is at Sam Owen's house, and it's Sullivan, who I was like, I actually had to go back to my notes from last time we did an episode because I was like, wasn't Sullivan Justin Hawkins? Like, so he flew all the way from Indiana out to
Mr.
Nevada?
Bougie with his chopper, yeah.
Like the helicopter flew all the way there, I guess. I don't know. But it's this Sullivan guy, this like army military guy. And he and then I watched like their conversation and I was like, oh yeah, because he has the photos of Chrissy of like her, looking great.
Yeah. Super great.
And he's kind of accusing Owens and saying that like everything bad in Hawkins can be traced back to Brenner's little pet, in quotation marks, talking about 11. And he actually says that Elle was trained for remote assassinations. So
Jesus.
He like kind of is accusing Elle of like being responsible for these murders.
And Owens is like, that bitch is dead.
Yeah, which, I mean, we know that she's not and that he knows that she's not, but they search his house, and this is the part that just like fucks me up.
Megan has been fixated on this for 2 years, people.
For literally 3 years.
3 years.
3 years. So they go all over his house. They're taking things. I mean, they're going through like an underwear drawer. Like, what are we doing?
Panties.
But they go in the closet, and I guess it's Owens's wife. I don't know if we know her first name, but she says, "Why are you taking that box? Those are Peter's old school projects. You do not need those." And she's like very upset that they're taking this stuff. And also she's like, Sam, do something. And he's just like sitting there on the couch, like can't be bothered. But we find out later that they didn't get like to
everything.
Thank goodness. But like, who's Peter? Who is Peter?
Watch, that was a throwaway line, and literally Megan is like, he adopted Henry.
It could not have been a throwaway line, because why would they have this whole fucking scene? Like, this is like a big budget scene. Like, they have a fucking helicopter. Like, they have a whole house, a whole set for to like go search his house and find this box. Like this has to mean something.
Who is Peter? Hashtag who is Peter?
Who is Peter? Like, legitimately, if they do not answer this question, I'm gonna like write a strongly worded social media post about it.
This is what I have to deal with, guys. This is what I have to deal with.
So Sullivan is hoping that Owens will lead them to the girl.
The girl.
And credits.
And credits. So back in California, Jonathan Argyle. Rinkomania. What the fuck is the matter with me?
I was cracking up because the EMT is like asking Angela, like, do you know where you are? And I was like, maybe she says Rinkorama.
And they're like, she's got a concussion. But they show up, and Angela's not doing so well, so they're back in the van driving home. And I just love how stoned they are. And they're trying to actually reassure poor Al. They're like, don't worry, the beauty queen's going to be just fine.
The future prom queen.
The future prom queen. And that's when they have a discussion about wooden wheels and how it would have been worse if it had been an ice skate, because her nose would have gone completely off. And Jonathan's like, ah! And then they're just like, it's just a little blip. And then they're like, I like that word, blip. And they just start going, blip, blip, blip. And the three of them in the back look so disgusting. It was kind of like a preview of what Andy, Rachel, and Brandy had to deal with driving with me to All Things Go. Like, that was the energy. So, yeah, Elle is just, she's dealing with a lot right now, and I loved
the music too, because like it's like opera music playing.
Oh yeah,
and like then the little like blip, it's almost like they're singing, and it like blends in with the opera music as they walk into the house.
That'd be a fun drinking game. Drink every time they say blip. So I love that they come home and Murray is in an apron and he's cooking risotto, and I just love how happy Jonathan looks. It's just like,
he's
the
only one who's like smiling. But then they sit down for dinner, and Murray has come up with this like elaborate lie of like how he came to be there. Then Joyce says she has to go to a business conference in Alaska. And this whole time, like, Jonathan and Argyle are still like high out of their minds, but like Argyle is like holding it together. Jonathan is just like, can you pass the olive oil? And Argyle's like, that's wine.
And I just love how Murray doesn't know who Argyle is. So he's like, who is this? Like,
he just keeps asking, like, I still don't know who this is.
Like, it was giving me vibes. I'm not going to admit what I did or didn't do in 2008, but it was Christmas Eve, and it was when my brother-in-law proposed to my sister, and we're all eating dinner afterwards, and I may have been celebrating the holidays with some good cheer. And every time they were asking me a question, it was like a Jonathan response. Like, I did not know what was going on. And I love how Joyce is literally like, Jonathan, what's the matter with you? And Murray's like, I could give one guess. So really, really funny. But I really hate Mike in this scene. Because
I laughed, though. I cracked up. Yeah, I did. Because it was like Argyle kind of brings up the scene, like the incident at the skating rink, and then but Jonathan and Argyle were like, but she's gonna be fine, and then you cut to Mike, she didn't look fine. And I just laughed so loud.
And I just love how Elle is done. She just gets up, and I love that Murray's like, was it the risotto? And Jonathan looks so sincere. He's like, no, it's absolutely delicious. So thanks, Jonathan. That's probably my favorite scene with him. But Elle storms into her bedroom. She leaves the door open 3 inches, and she kind of like, crashes down on her bed. And what starts to happen?
Well, she's kind of like replaying the events at the skating rink in her mind, but like it's so weird because throughout this whole episode, it kind of cuts with scenes from like the very beginning of the season where it's like the massacre and all the kids die at the lab, where we as the viewer still don't know if Elle was the one that did that. And I'm really not sure if it's supposed to be that Elle is starting to sort of remember that, or if we're just being reminded of it as the viewer.
Yeah.
I really don't know what the answer is to that, but because you almost think that maybe she is sort of having flashes of that memory because she's worried that she's a monster, which is like kind of a callback to the first season. But we also then end up seeing we cut to like demo bats and we see Vecna's lair and he gets
himself
plugged in.
Oh, dear
but
God.
Then again, we just keep seeing these cuts throughout this episode of like Vecna just like in his lair plugged in. Like
I'm shutting down my laptop. I'm done with you. So we cut to
I should call this episode plugged
in. Please do that. So the next day, Lucas wakes up still at Benny's like, dude, go home.
I know. I was like, has he not gone home? Like, what is he telling his parents?
Like, I know, like, and I know Erica later on is covering for him and, you know, he's going to owe her some Nintendo with Duck Hunt, but come on. And happens
Did you like the speed limit sign, though?
What did it say?
Speed limit, and then the number was painted over and it said 69.
I can't stand boys. I can't. I cannot. I had students last week giggling because we had to turn to page 69. I was just like, get it out of your system. Like, you don't know what the fuck it is. All right. So, Miss Still, you know. So he happens upon Andy, Patrick, and Jason preparing for the hunt, as Andy says. And they're loading up their trunk full of weapons like huge wrenches and stuff. And I'm like, Jesus. And when Lucas looks a little nervous, and Jason does try to give him an out. He's like, listen, you didn't know Chrissy like we did. Totally, it's okay if you don't want to come along. But kind of like Lucas, it wants to keep an eye on them. So this was actually kind of like good of him.
Well, also, you're not sure at this point. You're not really sure where Lucas's head is as a viewer, especially a first-time viewer, because it's like,
did Eddie do this? Did he not? Who are they after? I think it isn't until like later on in the scene when they happen upon the boys that he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'll go with you. And I love how like Andy's like, yeah, friendly neighborhood chat. And when Lucas agrees to go with them, Jason announces before he slams the trunk, and I always love this transition, he goes, let's hunt ourselves a freak.
Cut to Eddie jumping out of the boat and freaking out as like the others are like bringing him supplies to the boathouse. And
honeycombs.
This is like one of my favorite scenes with like him looking out the window and then like the door opening and it's like the four of them coming in and Steve does like this little wave. And like Eddie's just like sighs like because he's like relieved, I guess, but like also like still flustered. And then of course he's eating the iconic honeycombs and Yoo-hoo, which do you have a pop of that?
I do. From In the Dark Customs, I was like, how is this not a pop? So I made a custom pop of it. It's probably one of my favorites. And I just love how I used to hate in like television shows or movies when you can tell the actor really isn't eating. And I get it. Usually they put it in their mouth and there's like a bucket because you have to do take after take. And obviously, you know, for continuity and also the actor would get sick, you do have to spit it out. You're not really eating. But I love the shows where you actually see them eating. Sopranos, Sex and the City. They're eating. So I do love that Joseph Quinn was shoving honeycombs in his mouth and swallowing and nervously drinking the chocolate milk. But I really love how...
I mean, he wasn't going to show up Joe Keery, who eats on this fucking show all the time. Like,
that is
come on.
True. Come on. So I do love that they're kind of like, so we used our Cerebro, which is, you know, Dustin's huge radio. They hacked into the Hawkins PD like scanner. And they basically think he's suspect number one. And they're like, your name hasn't gone public, but once it does. And I did always like this kind of exchange with Robin and Eddie. And I know a lot of fan fiction people have been like, it could be about homosexuality. You never know. But he's like, every judgmental like mother in town will be after you. And he's like, hunt the freak, which is kind of chilling because that's what the entire basketball team is saying. And right away, Steve and Dustin are like, well, no problem, man. we've already dealt with this before.
We're going to find Vecna. We're going to kill him. We're going to clear your name. Like, nothing to worry about. And Steve's like, nothing to worry about.
I love it. That's all, Dustin. That's all. And just so reassuring. And he looks like he's having a panic attack. And then they hear sirens. So they jump up and look, and they see cruisers speeding down the road. And what do they end up happening upon?
They are going because I guess Fred has been found, or Fred's body, which he does not look so hot.
In my notes, I misspelled Fred. It says Fredo.
Okay.
Godfather 2. All right, continue.
My notes app, or my autocorrect, wanted to call him Freddie a couple times. So.
Oh, shit.
But the police are questioning Nancy, who also has not been home yet, poor thing.
Yeah.
About Fred, and since they were together right before he died. And also she's kind of like, well, did you look into Victor Creel? And they're like, Victor Creel is like locked up tight, like you don't have anything to worry about. And then Steve and the others in the BMW pull up, and they have like a nice little like wave, like Steve and Nancy.
She looked so relieved seeing them.
Yeah. So it was like, you could tell she was like glad that she wasn't in it on her own at this point.
Exactly. Back in California, Jonathan is sitting at the table. They're eating waffles, and he's looking at the newspaper. I remember doing this, looking up showtimes. And he's like, oh, Police Academy, I think it was 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, is playing. Those movies suck, but they're funny. And right away, like, you can just tell, like, the coconut milk is off. Like, it's just this awkward tension. Elle's not at the table. And right away, like, you know, you can tell Joyce has already left with Murray. And they're all just sitting around moping. And he's just like, I figured you guys should get out of the house. Mike grabs the cold waffles and heads upstairs and finally decides to be a decent human being. And he goes inside and he sees that Elle is fixing her diarrhea, aka diorama.
Mom's cabin, yeah.
And this scene is like really, really heartbreaking.
It's really emotional. And like, I do love that. I don't think they were all eating waffles. I think Mike had specifically made Eggos for Elle, and she didn't come down to eat it.
Eggos too late.
Yeah, and the picture from his basement, remember, is on her wall.
I do love that.
But they have a really emotional conversation, and it's like Elle sort of expressing, because Mike is frustrated because he's like, I've been bullied my whole life. Why didn't you tell me? Like, why did you feel like you couldn't tell me this? And she's like, well, this is different because I am different. I don't belong. And so this is very like I know we've talked about how Elle is kind of like neurodivergent coded, and like it's a very like universal kind of experience here with like.
It's heartbreaking because Millie Bobby Brown, one thing I will never take away from her, she's one hell of an actress. And if you've been there before, you're like, oh man, this is hitting. Like, she has just hit rock bottom. And she just looks so drained. And when he's like, you can't let the mouth breathe, there's a great callback. Get to you, you're a superhero. And she's like, not anymore, because she doesn't have her powers.
Yeah.
And she just looks, here she is like fixing a small little diagram of like her dead father. She doesn't really belong anywhere. She's tried her best. She's been humiliated. And she's just really hit rock bottom. And just, I don't know, the look on Mike's face, you can just tell like she's not doing good,
Yeah, because she's like, I don't belong. He's like, where in California? And she's like, no, anywhere. She's like, people think I'm a monster. And he kind of like, disputes that. But then she's like, you think I'm a monster. Like
your reaction
yesterday, like you thought I was a monster. And he kind of like tries to play it off like I was just surprised or whatever. But then she calls him out for not being able to say that he loves her anymore. Yeah. And like because he's like, I care about you. And she's like, care, like you don't love me anymore. You can't even write it. And then she like shows all the letters where he hasn't said love Mike. He's just said from Mike. Yeah. So it's a very kind of like, and this is their last scene together. This is their last conversation.
For a long time.
For like almost the rest of the season, like until the very end. So it's tough that this is how they leave it with each other. So,
and then boom, the fuzz arrives.
But what's on TV? What's on TV?
Are they watching the Ewok show? The little teddy bears.
Yeah, and Ella's arrested. Like
in handcuffs, which I'm like, okay.
With no guardian present.
That was that right away. I went, I get it's the 1980s, but like, we'll get to it. But when she's at the police station and she's being questioned, I'm like, this girl could have a disability and there's no guardian representing her. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So she gets taken away, and right away they were like, oh my God, maybe mom's plane hasn't taken off, because I would be just as flustered.
Yeah.
So they don't really know what to do. So poor Elle is taken away.
And Mike runs after her, and he's like, I'm going to help you. But like, what are you going to do, Mike?
She's like on the brink of just like crashing out completely. She's like, I'm in the back of a fucking police cruiser now. This is a bad day. So as the plane prepares to leave, Murray does kind of like a Stacy drop, reassuring Joyce, who's like, maybe I should have told them what we're really doing. And I love that he's like, they're just going to hang out, play video games, maybe smoke a little dope, experiment sexually, and just goes on and on.
And Joyce's face is just like priceless at that.
And I do love her getting like, the stewardess is like, wear your safety belt, and she's like, yeah, like this is gonna like save me if the plane crashes. Maybe some foreshadowing.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And I also, for some reason, remember specifically when the flight attendant comes up to her, like thinking that maybe they got through to her, and like the kids were able to contact her before they took off, and then like being disappointed when like she said, oh, you need to buckle your seatbelt, like, because I was like, oh, like maybe they're gonna catch her before she leaves, and of course they did not. And then we cut to the prison camp, and we see Hopper and Enzo, Dimitri, like talking. And we see that like that was kind of how they sort of like played it off, was like Enzo like pulls him aside and he's going to like beat him up or whatever. But they're actually like talking about the whole plan of like,
he's like, yeah, Yuri, this famous smuggler. And like right away, Hop's like, is this person reliable? And you see another guard kind of looking. So right away, he's like, where do you want it? And he's like, anywhere but the face. He's like, yeah, you want to look pretty for your woman.
That didn't happen right now.
God damn it.
That's later. He takes it in the face, actually. He takes it on the chin.
Oh, a little Joe lyric there. I don't think I would survive. I would rather deal with demo bats than a Russian prison in winter. We know Stacy. I barely survived barricade.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You're like, Stacey, yeah, you would die. So at the trailer park, I always found it odd that they returned there, but then right away I was like, wait, Max lives there, so that kind of makes sense. They're sitting at a picnic bench and they're trying to find the connection between Fred and Chrissy, and I love them pointing out that they were both at the trailer park, and Steve is the audience. He like looks around, he's like, wait a second. We're at the trailer park. Should we not be here? But I love that Max remembers seeing Chrissy leave Miss Kelly's office, the guidance counselor, and wonders if she was confiding in her about what was going on, and they decide to go check that out. And Nancy gets an idea, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to branch off. I have kind of like a lead. I'm going to go check it out. And Steve kind of makes a bit of an ass of himself, Megan.
Yeah, he does not want to let Nancy go by herself, which, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And I don't think it was, like, inappropriate that he was, like, trying to...
Safety numbers.
Like, Dustin gave him shit for it later, and I didn't agree with it. Like, I feel like it was, like, it made sense for them to, like, stay together.
He didn't get too flustered. I feel like if, Robin had wanted to branch off, but I do love this exchange that at first Steve's like, I'll go with Nancy, and he throws Robin her keys. She's like, I don't think you want me driving your car. And he's like, why? And she goes, I don't have a license. And he's like, I love that they're learning this just now. And he goes, how do you not have a license? And she goes, I'm poor, which kind of makes sense. And right away, Max goes, like, kind of gives a look, and he's like, no, absolutely
never
not.
Again, because she has driven him before.
She has, and taken him for a ride. So I love that Robin, like, kind of like, is kind of also giving him a good ribbing, and she's like, tell you what, girls will stick together unless we need protection. She's busting his balls, and he just like glares at her. And I just love him crashing out, first with Dustin wiping his feet on the inside and him being like, oh, he's the goddamn babysitter. So if you're ever going to see crashing out, that's Steve leaving the trailer park.
Yeah.
But what
Steve
happens?
Looked so good in this episode too.
Girl.
Like the whole time I was just like, oh my gosh, he's so dreamy. But like also like Robin, like Maya, looked so pretty too.
The patches
like,
on her. So So I really appreciate her style in this season. I wish they'd sold like more. Some people who do cosplay of her is amazing. But I love the outfit she is in, the upside down. But I love this one. It has all these cool like patches. One's like an Egyptian symbol. If you ever look at her nails are like this green shimmery color and stuff. I really love that girl's style.
Yeah, that's awesome. Before we cut away from the trailer park, you see inside Eddie's trailer, there's like this crack starting to form on the ceiling where Chrissy died. So you're like, uh-oh. And then we cut back to our favorite plugged in monster. And it's like he's scanning through the minds of all of these like troubled individuals. And
it
Hawkins.
Reminded me of Cerebro. So Professor X has this thing called Cerebro. He puts a little helmet on and he's able to find other mutants using his mind. Vecna is kind of doing that, but he's finding people who are like dealing with some heavy shit, and he ends up coming upon, I believe, Patrick.
Yeah.
And I kind of do get why they didn't really show a lot of it, because it can be triggering, but you know that like his father's yelling at him, probably abusing him, and he kind of jolts awake Patrick in the back of Jason's car, and he has a nosebleed, and Andy's like, nosebleed.
Yeah. And then they actually end up pulling up to, I think it's Gareth's house, where they're practicing the Corroded Coffin music in his garage. And they get out and they kind of confront them, and they're looking for Eddie. They ask what Lucas is doing with them. And this is like tough to watch, because then Jason's like, do you know these guys?
And he has to think fast on his feet.
Yeah, and he like lies, and he's like, well, they know my sister. They tried to recruit me to their club or cult or whatever. And it's almost like, I was like,
what the fuck?
I was thinking that it's almost, I don't know if I'll leave this in, that it's almost like, what is it, Judas, like denying Jesus 3 times? It's not Judas. It's like Peter, like one of the disciples, like denies.
Judas is the one that sold them out with the silver coins.
Yeah, which I only know this because of like Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, that one. Yep.
But it's like one of them like denies him 3 times, and it's almost like Lucas is like denying knowing Eddie.
Eddie's Jesus. Please keep that in.
Great connection.
Great connections. Wow, we are really killing it.
We're making like Bible connections now.
Plugged in Superstar. That should be the name of the episode. Okay, I'm done.
But anyway,
things get heated.
Yeah. I mean, they just start like going at it, because Gareth's like, well, he's not here. And like Jason is trying to break his hand.
He like steps on his hand.
Yeah. And so then finally Gareth is like, Dustin Henderson. And which also made me think of like Steve giving up Dustin to the Russians. Like everybody's always giving up
his entire address. He's like, yeah, great fro.
But he's like, well, Dustin was calling around looking for Eddie. Maybe he found them. Maybe he found him.
And Lucas's face says it all. So back in California, you can truly tell, like we said, it's the 1980s, long before laws and guidelines, like the authorities not being allowed to question a minor without an adult or guardian being present. Instead, they try to like do bad cop with her, and they're making her sound like a psychopath, which 11, you're not doing yourself any favors saying that.
I don't know if I wanted to kill her.
Yeah, like it actually felt kind of good hurting her. I'm like, bitch, you're gonna go to the electric chair. So Will, Mike, and Jonathan, they try to see 11, but the secretary is like, not unless you're a guardian. And I'm like, oh, they're actually listening to guidelines, so they do not know what to do, and they're freaking out. And at that exact moment, the paddy wagon comes out. And she's in it.
Away.
It's so dramatic and over the top, but I die every time.
When Mike like runs after
after her. I'm
like again, Mike, what are you gonna do?
Oh my God, go suck an egg. I can't.
But on the plane, I love how Murray is like sleeping and like mumbling in his sleep. Like, I wish I could sleep on a plane like that.
Me too.
But Joyce gets like some plane food, and I love how the stewardess is like, do you and your husband have any fun plans? Going to visit an old friend.
Yep. That looks like chicken cordon bleu.
It didn't look that bad. Like,
I would have eaten it. Like, guys, I'm a raccoon. You see what I eat?
It looked way better than Hopper's soup, that's for sure.
Girl.
But I guess that soup was like useful because he ends up trading it.
Yeah, to get his ankle broken. I love that for him.
But Nancy and Robin go to the library.
Yes.
And Robin is just like rambling.
You know, when I originally watched this, I was annoyed by Robin. Okay. First time watch, I was like, yeah, I'd be Nancy. But then a rewatching, we have talked about this, that we think her, you know, her walls are down, could be on the spectrum, and she's nervous around Nancy. You know, her first impression about her was that she was a priss. She was one of the popular, you know, girls. So you can tell this is the first time they're kind of one-on-one alone. And she's comfortable with Nancy, but also nervous. So she's kind of rambling, kind of annoying her. And she even makes, and I kind of like, this breaks my heart. She brings up how her mom, like, kind of tells her that she's, you know, awful.
A lot.
A lot awful with social, like, interactions. And she even apologizes. She's like, I'm sorry, was that too mean? And she's almost like too much in her head. But I do love that the secretary that Hop, like, had a one night stand with, I love that she has a cameo and she's just watching this all unfold.
Yeah.
Gold.
And I also feel like I kind of understand Nancy. Like, I don't think Nancy is really that annoyed. And I feel like Robin is like, are you annoyed? And Nancy's like, no, I'm just like vibing.
It's you and me in the car on the way back from the airport. Yeah.
When I just like listen to what you say, but you're like, you're just gonna not even say anything.
Guys, the best had to be, we're driving back. I was taking her around Mass. And there's this big wooden dog, okay, that this farmer built. And it faces the highway with the bone cut out of it. So I go, look at the dog. She just looks up in silence.
I looked at the dog and I was trying to figure it out. Like, what is
back
this?
Down at her phone, and I go, Jesus Christ. I go, well, fuck me and the dog. So that was me showing her that. And when we went to CVS and you were buying the Stranger Things makeup, and I go, oh, look, they have eyeliner. And you go, ugh, I don't want to wear red eyeliner. And you just look up and I'm wearing red eyeliner. And I go, what? You don't want to look like a clown? The poor CVS employees, they were done with us.
Yeah, so I feel like that's
Stacey
literally,
and Megan
yeah, exactly. I'm Nancy or Robin.
Yeah, 100%.
But Robin is kind of like telling Nancy that like her theory is a little out there. Like, she's like, oh, you said it was a shot in the dark, but like I thought you were just being like humble. Like, this is a little crazy. Like, with the whole Victor Creel thing. But then they go and Max goes to visit Miss Kelly, so she gets there. And while she's in there, Dustin and Steve are in the car talking, and this is where like I didn't really agree with like Dustin like ribbing Steve so much and saying that he still has a thing for Nancy, because it's like he was just like being a good friend and a good like protective like member of the party. Like,
yeah. And I do love the line of him going, you know, the fact that you won't ever date Robin. He goes, that's not the only reason.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Because that's like what Dustin is kind of using too, to say like that's why Steve like won't date Robin, is because he still has a thing for Nancy. But like that's not the case either. And they both get really like flustered with each other, and then Steve takes it a little too far and he's like, I'm gonna knock your teeth back out or something.
And then
it's like
not cool.
Too far. Not
too
cool.
far.
They like fist bump like.
That was like you apologizing for rolling your eye. You were adorable at the concert. You just went, I'm sorry I rolled my eyes at you earlier. And I am like holding onto the barricade, sweating like a whore in church. And I go, what? And she just like brings me water and she goes, I rolled my eyes earlier when you said you didn't care where we ate. And I'm like, Megan, you're forgiven, my sweet summer child. So kind of reminded it yet again of us.
Yeah.
So what's
wait, which one am I? Steve?
Oh, 100%. Me just going too far. Rolled your eyes too far. And I do look good in a hat. So what's going on with Miss Kelly?
So the clock is very prominent.
Yeah,
in
you
this
noticed
scene.
that?
Yeah. I was like,
And she wears this like necklace with a key. And I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is that about? It really means nothing. But
I mean, it's
all
beautiful. Like maybe it's just a fashion choice. But like, who knows? But Max is kind of like at first saying like, oh, I just am feeling very overwhelmed because all of the murders. And like Miss Kelly's like, yeah, like it's a lot for you and you always keep it in. Like, do you want to talk more about that night? And I like always get like a little suspicious of her, like trying to get Max to give more information about what happened with Billy, because it's like, why do you want to know that? And also, like, this is very inappropriate that you have your student in your house during spring break, like, downstairs in your basement. Like, Mrs. Kelly, like, what are we doing here?
Come on, girl.
But then Max just kind of like starts just like, you know, kind of like throws any pretense away and is like asking her what she knows about Chrissy. And
I love that she's like, that's confidential.
Yeah.
You know, how would you like it if I was repeating your information? And she goes, well, if I was murdered and this helped solve my murder, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. But Mrs. Kelly is like very prissy, like, oh, well, let's leave that to the police, shall we?
Yeah, like,
and I'm like,
I didn't like Miss Kelly. And she like, won't budge. So I like that Max is like, can I use your can? So she goes, yeah, right upstairs. And what does she do? She goes into her office, goes into the file cabinet, and steals.
Oh, no. No, she doesn't.
Am I making shit up?
She takes her keys.
She takes her I'm an idiot. I'm making up scenes, guys. I'm like, she goes into her file cabinet.
That's later.
That's later. So she steals keys.
She just asks to go to the bathroom, and then she like goes upstairs, sees her keys to her office, and like pieces out, and is like, "Let's go, Steve. Drive the car."
I definitely would have gotten caught. I'm like looking for a file cabinet in the house. So yeah, she's tells Steve, "Let's haul ass," and they leave.
Yeah, and that's when Lucas is at Dustin's house with the jocks.
Could you imagine if Claudia was home? I think
like,
she's
at
work.
Happened? Like, thank goodness she wasn't home. But I mean, nobody's home. And Lucas ends up breaking into Dustin's bedroom to use the radio to call them. And he's like, well, guys, like, did Eddie killed someone? And they're like, no, he didn't. Like, he's hiding. Like, we found him. They tell Lucas exactly where Eddie is, which at first you're like, okay, I'm still not really sure where Lucas's head is in all of
Judas.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Lucas tells them that like some bad shit is about to go down. And then the guys find him in the room. So Lucas is like, I was looking for clues, and that he found one, and he says he knows where Eddie is hiding. And this is like still at initial view, you're like, does Lucas give up Eddie at this point?
Yeah.
So like the first time you're watching this, you're like really not sure. Then we cut to the desert.
She's in the paddy wagon, and then somehow this mysterious vehicle like cuts off the van, and she gets out. Okay, 3. Okay, I'm making up scenes. She gets out and she tries to run for it, and who does she see?
Owens,
and he goes, "Hi, kiddo."
Yeah. And then the plane lands in Alaska, and it's snowing. And this is what I thought it was going to be like when I went to Alaska. So when I went there and it was like warm and sunny the whole time, I was like a little disappointed I didn't get a true Alaska experience. But
you would have been miserable. No, actually, you're a freak. You would have loved it.
Yeah, I like the snow. But again, the flight attendant in this episode is fantastic because she's just like, welcome to Alaska.
He's like, this is like spring. Like, that'd be me.
Dark, cold, snowy, and miserable. And then we cut back to the prison camp, and Hopper is like going in, and you're like a little worried because they're like checking the chains as everybody comes in, and they're like ripping the hats off their heads. It's like very intense. But he goes back to his room, and I guess he like is like getting the ankle chain off, and it's like very hard to watch.
I'm sorry, but like that was the one continuity thing that I was like, his ankle's broken. It's broken. But nope, he walks on it, he fights a fucking Demogorgon and decapitates it. He's doing just fine. So Hop, you're a badass. That's all I have to say.
So at the library, Nancy and Robin, our dynamic duo, are back down in the basement where we've seen this basement before.
We have.
Because I think Hopper has been
Hop
down
and
there.
Powell in season 1. So they're looking through microfilm, which I don't know. I always love a good scene. Like in the Amityville Horror, she looks through the microfilms. I just love that. And they're looking through and kind of like right away, Nancy kind of has had enough of fucking Robin. So she's like, why don't you just call Steve and he can pick you up? Oh, Nancy. And right away, Robin is like, oh, fuck no. So she's like, you do realize that we are just friends. We're platonic with a capital P. We're not a thing. And almost like Nancy's a little quiet because you're like, oh, did you get called out, girlfriend? Like, sorry, she wants none of that hot dog stand.
But they haven't really been able to find anything about Victor Creel, like just like what they already knew.
Mm-hmm.
But then as they're kind of looking again through the little drawers, Robin finds something called the Weekly Watcher.
So it's almost like the National Enquirer.
That's what I was thinking too, which like reports on like Bigfoot and UFOs. And like, I love Robin. She's like, well, UFOs are absolutely real. I'm still on the fence about Bigfoot. But they actually put that in the microfilm thing, and like Robin's flipping through and they're still kind of like arguing, but then Robin's like, Victor Creel claims vengeful demon, like murdered family, and Nancy's just like, just leave it, like she just like is like again frustrated with Robin, and Robin's like, I'm not kidding, like that's what this actually says right now. Which is kind of fun.
Good job, Robin.
Yeah. And good job, Nancy, for actually like being on point with your theory here.
Yeah.
Because they realize that this does seem like Vecna. Like it was kind of similar to what happened with Chrissy. Yep. So, do you know where they go next?
No, you have to help me because my notes are all out of order.
So they go to the school, and this is where they're going into Mrs. Kelly's office at school.
Oh, and they have the flashlights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Max opens the door with the key, and they go in, and it's like kind of like, I don't know if I noticed it before, but Dustin is like, this is kind of like a mini Watergate.
This is like Watergate, which foreshadowing. And I love that Steve goes, didn't those people get caught?
Yeah. And Dustin's like, it's like Hawkins Gate.
He's really trying to make the gate thing work, you know? That's why I love when he's like, Watergate, like it finally worked. So they're looking through the files.
Yeah, and Max realizes she doesn't just find Chrissy's files, she realizes that Fred was also seeing Miss Kelly, which tracks.
Whoops.
And then Lucas and the guys are like forming a plan to start looking for Eddie in the woods. So you're not really sure like where they are. Again,
this
Lucas
was a
tell
cool
them?
reveal, yeah.
Yeah. But then we cut to Elle and Owens, and they're at a diner talking about how Hawkins is in danger again. Owens is saying that the evil is like a virus, and each time it comes back smarter and deadlier. And he's basically telling Elle that they need her help. But then we're cutting back and forth still. So
it always bothers me that they order food and they don't eat it.
I know, because of course she orders waffles.
Waffles. I hope they left a good tip.
But they're cutting back and forth, and you find out Lucas did not actually give Eddie up, because you see that they're at Hop's cabin.
Yeah,
so that's where
once they're busy like looking somewhere, Lucas takes off and runs.
He runs, and then we got back.
Looks like you
Owens.
were Judas after all. You were Peter or whoever the fuck. One of them.
So Owens tells Elle that Hawkins needs her help. She says she doesn't have her powers, but he tells her that there may be a way to
get them back,
and that he's been preparing for this moment, and he has a program in place. Then we cut back. So it's a lot of like cutting back and forth. And it's Max, and she's looking through Chrissy and Fred's files and kind of realizing that she's also suffering these same symptoms.
That gave me the chills, because you see like a flashback of her getting a nosebleed in class probably earlier that week, and Mike notices and he looks a little concerned. And then you see like the nightmares and stuff, and there's flashes of Billy and, you know, how she's, you know, not the same anymore. And she's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owen says that Elle is their only hope. It's very like
very
Obi-Wan
Star Wars.
Kenobi.
You're my only hope.
My only hope.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Elle asks, what if I'm the monster? And he says that he would bet that she isn't, but that she could come with him and find out for herself. And that's when you see that they've left before their food arrives.
Bothers me so bad. I would have taken it for the road
yeah,
waffle.
Like, come on. Elle's got to eat. She needs her strength.
Thank you.
Come on.
They put her ass in a water tank for like the whole rest of the series.
And so then you see these agents show up at the buyer's house.
Yeah. So you're like, oh shit, what's going on?
And Owens and Elle are just driving into the night in the desert.
Great music playing. Yep.
And then this is the final scene. Max, you realize Max is in a trance. She's seeing the clock, which is what, like, we know that Chrissy and Fred both saw. And she hears Vecna's voice saying her name, and then his blue eyes open.
Cut to black.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
So good. I love the buildup of Max and her realizing that she's cursed.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole, like, not knowing if Lucas, like, whose side Lucas is on. Dustin and Steve are great. Like, Robin and Nancy working together. Like, the start of that relationship. Like, it's a really good one. Murray and Joyce on the plane. Like, at the beginning with Argyle. Like, all such good scenes. So
5 stars.
5 Demogorgons.
Oh yeah, we do Demogorgons. Yeah.
Great episode.
So merch.
Yeah, before we get into merch. So there have been like some promo things going on, like with the official Stranger Things channels. And
yes.
I know we've been a little distracted by our boy Joe and, you know, just like attending concerts and flying to cities and driving and not sleeping and all of that.
Seasonal depression, you know, all that jazz.
So it's been cool that like there's finally some stuff like coming out, and I guess Stranger Things Netflix is like doing like some sort of official rewatch, like where you like pick an episode every week and like vote on it, and then you rewatch it. I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're going to rewatch it, you're not going to rewatch just like one episode. So it's a little confusing to me.
This is the real rewatch. Go on a deep dive with us. But they have been doing a lot of content behind the scenes, like, you know, do you remember this about past episodes? And like the cast sitting on the couch with the Christmas lights in the background, and they're talking about certain scenes. So I'm definitely going to check it out, but we've yet to really
we need to like catch up on it. Maybe we'll let you know like next week like what has been going on with all of that. Like, I'm sure we're just going to keep getting more and more, just like the merch situation right now. Which,
oh, Lord in heaven above.
And before we talk about Stranger Things merch, let's talk about Joe merch. Can we talk about Joe merch?
Let's talk about Joe merch, because I got to tell you, amazing.
Yeah, I'm so broke. So, like, I haven't actually bought any Joe merch yet.
Same.
I really want the crew neck sweatshirt because this is the first time he's had a crew neck sweatshirt. They had a hoodie before that I wasn't really into.
I liked the hoodie.
There's a new long sleeve shirt, but I probably won't get that because I got the old black long sleeve shirt too. But I do like the banana, but also like you don't take a bite out of a banana with the peel still on. So like, I mean,
it was very phallic looking. I don't know.
Yeah. It is a little Steve coated though.
Yeah,
we do love the banana with Steve. So
we do.
Anyway, the VIP merch, though, which I got from New Haven, obviously, and I'll get another VIP merch pack in Kansas City. But, like, I love the tote bag. I love the tote bag so much more than the last tote bag.
Me too.
I'm actually going to, like, keep both of them because I want to, like, use one and, like, keep one nice.
It looks like almost like what you'd get at a reusable bag at a market. It has the thank you, and then it has Joe on the other side. It's really cute.
And the Joe with, like, the star, which is actually, like, the logo that's on the crew neck that I want to get.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the magnet is adorable.
I'm obsessed with it. It's the apple with the little Joe label on it, $29.29. It's got the worm coming out of it. What does the worm say?
Love at first bite.
How flippin' cute is that?
And then a really nice Nalgene water bottle with like the same Apple logo on it, and it says another bite tour.
I love mine.
So nice. And then also, some people have not been getting them because I feel like the delivery has been a little like messed
wonky,
up. But we did get gummy dinosaurs.
We sure did.
So we were really lucky. Some people have been getting gummy worms. Some people have been getting no gummies, which is a bummer. But we'll see what I get in Kansas City. I do know that when the gummy dinosaurs got delivered, which we watched in New
Fascinating.
Haven, the pallet of boxes of gummies were like not like shrink wrapped or anything, so they were just like falling all over the street. Like
it kind of was. It's Connecticut coded for sure. Yeah,
right next to us as we were sitting in the middle of the street. So that was fun. But yeah, I'm loving the merch. He's got a lot of cool new shirts. There's a really cool jersey. I wish it was not like $1 million, but
oh my god, $85, and it's like it's almost like it's a crop top. So I'm like. The temptation is real. I really like the tour shirt, but I told Megan, I was like, it's white and I'm an animal. I will somehow find ketchup and it will get on me. And I love the poster and stuff. The hoodie's kind of calling to me. But when I was at the Connecticut show, my friends Brandy and Rachel, they grabbed it for me and I was able to pay them later. I got the patches because one of them is a donut. We all know Stacey loves a donut.
Yeah, you needed that.
I love a donut. You and I had donuts. It was nice.
We did.
And then I love that you pointed out, you were like, look at the air freshener, because I have an Eddie air freshener and a Joe air freshener that's like the 8-ball. So it's the apple with the worm. And I'm just so glad I got it. And the air freshener guy is $5. Like, how can you go wrong?
That's worth it.
And it smells like apple cinnamon. It's delicious.
Nice. I don't usually do air fresheners in my car, but
you should do it, man.
It's tempting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the merch is great. Really enjoying the Another Bite merch. I think it's better this tour.
Me too. Me too.
I think there's more variety and like the selection is like good stuff. So and the VIP merch is way better. I mean, I like the slippers, but like
we're gonna use these things more. Like every time I look at my fridge, I'm like, look at the apple.
Exactly. So that is the Joe merch, and I will let you take. Well, I did just watch. Shout out Cinco Things.
He's the best.
He is awesome and has been like kind of keeping up with all of the merch that has been like exploding lately.
Yeah.
And I just watched his reel he did of like all the new line of Funko Pops. Like, so I kind of like understand now all of the new official Funko Pops that came out, which there are a lot.
There's a lot.
I guess I really only care about like wanting to get like all the Steve ones. So
I mean,
I'm gonna have to work on that. But like there's a lot of good ones. Like I love the Robin ones and like the little radio station with Robin. Like I might need that because I do have most of the Robin ones too.
Me too. I told myself I'll occasionally get an 11, maybe a Dustin. But I told myself my main priority is just Steve and Robin.
Yeah.
I've yet to been able to find a solo Robin or her on the radio station. I'm thinking I might, because I have an Amazon gift card, and I'm like, what am I going to use it on? But it's pre-ordered, and I wouldn't get it until December, and I'm a child. I want it now.
Yeah.
But no, let's get into merch. Today was actually a lot of fun. My friend Jeanette gave me a Target gift card a million years ago, and I was like, oh my God, because I've been broke, and I'm like, I got to be good. I got to wait. And today, like, a lot of Target exclusives came out. I went to my local one in Methuen, and, that's been remodeled. And I went and literally when Megan was visiting.
We were watching YouTube videos, and every single ad was, like, about the remodeled Target in Methuen. I'm like, Stacey, have you been there yet?
Have you been? So I went today, and the employee was so nice. She was like, nothing's been set up yet. She was like, probably tomorrow. But she was like, do you want me to go up back and, like, show you stuff? And I'm like, no, I don't want you to get in trouble. I'll come back tomorrow. But she was very sweet. But I went to the New Hampshire one, and I was able to get 11, the Pop, which looks just like Josh Brolin from the Goonies. So she's got her little bandana. So really psyched about that.
What's the exclusives where it's like that same one, but she's like floating? Like, are those like Funko exclusives or Target exclusives?
I believe they are. We might have to ask as Cinco or Haley, but I think they are. They came out with a lot. There's a Mike one. There's a Dustin. There's Steve. There's Robin. Robin came with her radio station. I don't know if it's a Hot Topic exclusive or a Target one.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find her. But Box Lunch had Steve in his Beamer. This was the one I absolutely needed to get. And of course, he's sticking out of the goddamn sunroof. So I feel like...
Does he come out? Like, can you take him out? No.
He's stuck. But his head moves.
Oh,
but
cute.
I am obsessed with this car. So I'm glad that I didn't even know that like Funko did rides, which are them in like cars. So I guess there's another one. My friend Eli pre-ordered it for me. It's Steve driving the Squawk, the radio station van.
Yeah.
So I love that all the ride ones are him.
Steve. Like that was wild. Like that was, I don't know if like they know that he's like the most popular character.
Maybe.
So like putting him driving these rides is going to sell the most. Like I think that was probably a smart decision.
The only other one I can think of is Argyle in the Surfer Boy pizza van, which I don't have, but I'm like, that's the only other ride I thought of. But this is the solo one.
He's cute.
He's eating like, I guess, a peanut butter popper thing. It was actually a candy that the grandfather eats in the Lost Boys, so I thought that was funny.
Oh, that is funny.
Tracy pointed that out, so shout out Tracy. So he just looks adorable with his little, sneakers and his jacket. So that's what I've gotten so far for Pops. This is what I was most excited for. This was the Demogorgon Crunch cereal. I thought this was AI. I didn't think it was real, guys. And I know that they've done Frosted Flakes and they've done Fruit Loops, which are Stranger Things exclusive. But I had to get a box of this. So the marshmallows are a flashlight, a Demogorgon, and a D20. So I
was that at Target?
This was at Target.
Nice.
And I might have to eat some for the Patreon, but the box is very, very cool. And yeah, I'm just obsessed.
I love cereal. I have to get that too. I think it's going to be nice because it looks like once the Target display is like fully set up, they're going to have all the like food stuff that has come out like in one spot, which will be nice.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's just been like all over the place of trying to find it. So like all the Doritos and stuff, like I want to try to get. So yeah.
So this it sucks. I'm an idiot. Okay, so this was the Squawk van. Okay, they had one that looks like a VHS tape with the kids on it. So this comes with 3 crew socks, which are Stranger Things themed. One's a radio station. I'm going to have to rock those. Hellfire. One says Stranger Things.
Oh, nice.
I just bought it because I was obsessed with the van.
Yeah.
So love that.
The packaging is really cool.
I had to get the fruit roll-ups. I haven't had these since I was a kid. They also had Gushers, but pretty cool. The kids are on the back of it and stuff. The boxes look really cool. So very obsessed with that. It says free Stranger Things sticker inside each box. I might have to whip that open. Then there were mystery bags, and those are such a cash grab. And I always get characters I don't want, and I was trying to feel them to see like if I could find Steve. But the first one I got was Dustin Henderson, so this was a great one. I know they're selling his baseball cap and Hot Topic. So he's wearing the radio station t-shirt, so love it, We all know Stacey's going to end up buying $1 million. I'll never get Steve, but I was very excited about this one.
That is fantastic.
Toots,
it's the little chicken.
The chicken. Which
how do we know his name already?
So I think some like fan page named them Toots. But me, Rachel, and Brandy were thinking, we think what it's going to be is Robin's going to be the radio DJ and like Steve's her assistant. And since they're called the Squawk with Rock and Robin, this is going to be one of the gimmicks that he squeezes it because it's almost like a dog toy. He goes, Mah! So we think that this is going to be a gimmick on the radio show. So let's see if Stacey was right.
Yeah, and it looked like they actually are selling one that you can squeak already, too, because Cinco had it. I don't know where it came from.
I need it, and I need to go to Walmart because I guess they're selling a shirt with the chicken on it. But Rachel was MVP. She went to Five Below, and she got me all these little Squishmallows.
They're so cute.
Dustin Henderson, rocking the radio shirt. There's, I don't know, this is maybe Eddie. Like, he's a bat with a Hellfire shirt.
A double bat.
There's one wearing
is that
Cass?
Like,
yeah, what is that a Cass Squishmallow? And they're mini, too, which is adorable. This is they gave it names. Emily. Dante, that's the Eddie one. Thankfully,
Dustin.
that's Dustin. And what's the Demogorgon fucking called? Demogorgon.
Frank.
This is Frank, the Demogorgon?
I don't understand Emily, the Demobat.
Yeah,
like,
what the hell is Emily? Like, that's what we're going to call the Demobats from now on. A bunch of
actually,
Emilys.
they're going to start, like, taming the Demobats and becoming pets.
They're going to be pets, like chia pets. But, that made no sense. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely go back to Target later this week. Tracy and Rachel said that they got me the exclusive Gatorade, so huge shout out to them.
Oh gosh.
I also got the Baby Bell cheese, which maybe I will eat on the Patreon. They have like Star Court, Hawkins High. They have all the labels and stuff. And I was shaking I spent $8 on those goddamn things, but I was like, the cheese, they have the cheese. So definitely, when you're strapped for cash, you're like, God damn it.
I know. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I can't get any of this stuff. I'm so broke from this Joe tour, but
you know what? Get your Joe merch, baby. Get your Joe merch. But I will keep you guys posted. But huge shout out to Az, Haley, Cinco, Tracy. They're keeping us updated with a lot of the exclusive things that are coming out. Like I said, I am on the search for Robin with the radio station, but I already know this is just the beginning of the pop, so stay tuned. But a lot of cool stuff that is being cranked out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. And the snacks are so fun. I like really want to get all of those. And like, when we finally it's like November and we will have lots of fun stuff to eat while we watch it. I'm going to have a whole little spread for myself. I know you're going to make a nice little spread for your visitors that are coming to watch with you.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Man, well, that was a really fun episode.
It was.
Yeah, but until next time.
Guys, over and out.
I guess follow us on social media. I'm posting lots of Joe stuff over there, like at Steady Stories. Stacy is at Stay Still Reviews. The podcast page is a little quiet lately, but we'll try to, get some stuff going soon at Skull Rock Broadcast, but you can always talk to us there. You can join our Patreon if you want to see Stacy eat some cereal and Baby Bell cheese, maybe at the same time.
Maybe.
That would be great. But other than that, we will catch you up next time with the rest of my Joe travels and the next episode of season 4. So until then, over and out.
Over and out.
Eddie, I'm not sure I love the idea of you driving.
Oh, I'm starting to suffer. Harrington's got it. Don't you, big boy?
All right. Well, we're back. And I know a lot of you have been anxiously awaiting for the return of the Secret Study segment. So if you're not sure what that is, and for some reason this is the first time you're tuning in, I think this might be the first secret segment of our season 4. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe. But anyway, we definitely have not been reading as much as I would have liked. But, with everything that's going on and concerts and all of that, it's been a lot. But we like to talk about what we've been reading in terms of fan fiction. We read mostly Steve Harrington and Eddie Munson fan fiction. So if that's not your thing, feel free to turn us off and just tune in next time. But if you do want to hear about some things that we've been reading, it's mostly really inappropriate. So
yeah, buckle up.
Don't judge.
Yeah.
But I'll let you go first.
Of course you would. So I have been reading Punisher's Pretenders. That's a really good story. Basically, after Vecna, everything happens, and you find out Steve's kind of stuck in Hawkins, and then one day he hears on the radio Eddie's band. He actually made it as Corona Coffin, or actually I think it's a different name. Forgive me. And one of the songs is called Sweet Stevie, and he's like, wait a second. And he confronts Eddie because Eddie's in town doing a gig, and he's like, no, it wasn't about you, but yes, it really was. So it's really cute. That author's really good. But I have to say, when we were at the music festival, Eli was like, oh, we're talking about Onion Chiver and just how amazing they are. And they went, have you read Small Town Boys yet? And I went, no. I don't know if you would like it, Megan, to be completely honest.
Have I read it?
So it's basically
What's the premise?
So it's about Jason and Billy, they're actors, and they're playing Eddie and Steve, who were two famous serial killers that went on like this
I've heard
big
of this,
spree.
but I haven't read it.
I don't know if it would be your bag.
I love everything by Onion Chiver, so I usually can like get past.
Yeah, it's
some
definitely,
of that,
it's dark, but
yeah.
it's almost like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation. It's really cool that you're seeing them, like, it's supposed to be them shooting like this miniseries on AMC, and Jason strikes a deal with Eddie's legal team because Eddie's in a prison and Steve is in a mental hospital. And basically it's this notorious crime spree that they did and stuff, and they're trying to do it as, you know, accurate as they can. So
who's the actors? Jason and Billy?
Jason and Billy. And
okay.
Billy's playing, I want to say Steve, and Jason's playing Eddie. And they're lovers, and, you know, nobody knows that the stars are bumping uglies, but they agree to meet them separately. And Steve is on his way to recovery and stuff, but it's like, they're like, don't mention Steve ever to Eddie because literally he will do whatever he can to get to him. So it's really intense. I read the first 2 chapters in the airport, but I love anything by Onion Chiver, so highly recommend, and hopefully I am dying to see updates of their other stories. So.
Yeah, I might have to try that one eventually. I've looked at it and thought about starting it a couple of times, but I just have not. And I need to. I know you really want me to keep going with Prism, which I want to do soon. Eli has been bugging me to catch up with Scorpio Skies, and there's been a lot of new chapters. I think they're up to like chapter 31, and I've only read through 20, so like there's a lot that I haven't read yet. So I really need to get on that. But there's this story, and it's actually not that long, but like obviously I've been reading it for a while now because I haven't been reading that much, but it is a stalker story, so you know, trigger warning, like don't listen if you don't want to hear about that. But let me see what it's called. It was like a very popular story on AO3, so people might be like aware of it. I feel like it had a lot of like kudos or views or whatever, but like it's called Hush Little Baby, Beast Under Your Bed. And it's by Stevie Jeebies. Love that name. So I'm almost finished. I'm in like the last or second to last chapter finally, but it is, you know, basically what you would think of, like Eddie is stalking Steve. They're still in high school, so I feel like they're like seniors in high school, so they do seem kind of like young in this story, like they're more like season 4 ages.
What's it called again?
Hush Little Baby, in parentheses, Beast Under Your Bed.
Okay. Stacy looks it up immediately.
Yeah, it's good though. It's a little bit of like a slow burn, but like there's stuff that's like hot that happens like sooner. But you know, I'm sure it's like gonna have a happy ending, which is all I care about.
Yeah, that's all.
And you know, like.
We love our boys, like,
and Steve is aware very quickly, so it's like not, and he's kind of like into the whole thing.
Ooh.
So like, even though it's like kind of a little bit of a scary premise to start with, like you kind of can get past that a little bit.
Sure. I mean, you know the stuff I read, so sure.
But it's actually kind of cute, which feels weird to say about a stalker story. And literally there was just like a minor character death, like, and I'm over here like, oh, this is a really cute, sweet story. Cute.
You're kicking your feet. So cute.
So, oh well, that's how my brain works. It's a little twisted, but
sick
you know,
bastard. I love it.
It's you know, it's like you suspend your disbelief. This is not something that would be good to happen in real life, but that's why we read fiction.
Exactly.
So that's my rec for the day. Let me know if anybody reads it. It's pretty short, actually. yeah, but we'll keep you posted if we find anything else new to read in the next couple weeks. And that's it. So welcome back to the secret segment.
Woo, we're back, baby. Peace out.
Peace.